I didn't make it. Safe stress makes for to build 2 right there. Anyway, we're finally done with this, but we lost a lot of time during it though, unfortunately. But we're finally almost out of year 2, which is amazing. Because year 2 is really, really harsh. Anyway, now it's time for Follow the Spiders, or more commonly known as the Aragog fight, which can go really bad. But for the sake of the marathon, I'm going to go really safe against Aragog. Because there's fast ways to do it, but it's really hard to control the projectiles as spiders. Anyway, like I said, in year 1, we're going to go back to the forest, and we're going to lose some friends. Bang. What am I doing? Well, at least I got 2 fangs. Anyway. Bang, get out of the way. Anyway, we're going to leave them behind, because we don't need them since we can already go to Fang. So we don't really need to have a way for them to get up here, because we can go without them. And after this, I'm actually going to transfer to Harry, because he is good at broomstick riding. Oh, what? Buttons are all over the place. Anyway, we just ride over here, and we don't have to worry about building the bridge that takes them back. Let's see if I can skip this cutscene. I didn't get it. I found out that you can actually skip this sequence of cutscene, because this cutscene is completely irrelevant to us. Because it's just going to build a ladder over to the other side to get some nuts and bolts. And we don't really need those at all, so there is a way to skip this, but I didn't get it, unfortunately. It's a very weird trick. I do not fully understand it yet. This bee is giving me trouble. Wow, it just would not die.
I'd just like to apologize for all the technical issues, and also we have $2 from Gaming Matthias, who says Dat Sheffy.
Thank you, Matthias. That's the safety strat I'm talking about right there. Taking a really long time to launch a spider, but it's really safe there. Otherwise you have to fetch it again. And you risk getting webbed in the process. It's not that drastically slower, but it's certainly better than the alternatives. I dropped one. We're gonna take this a little slower. There we go. Okay, anyway, time for the driving part. Depending on how you drive, if you're ahead of Hermione in this case, it would be Ron normally. If you're ahead of the motorcycle and the motorcycle is behind Aragog, potentially you could run the car without having a spider land. So we're going to try to be as far ahead as humanly possible, so we don't have any spiders. It's really difficult to see even on my game screen right now. Had bad logs there. Really hard to do this with a D-pad also, but I love my D-pad. Can I get ahead of you, Hermione, please? Okay. Alright, we don't lose too much time there. But anyway, at least the forest is finally done, and it worked out pretty well. Anyway, we're on to the boss list next. So we're finally almost done with year 2. Alright. And again, this, well, I like to call the staff the hero staff, but it's almost correct, with the exception of Hermione being here. I'm actually going to do something safe here, because I've had weird issues with this, because you don't have to build that, but I've had really weird issues. Anyway, there's a lot of stop and go to this one, because you have to repair pipes and make sure the pipes are moving cleanly, then you have to go back to Crookshanks and yada yada yada. So it's going to take a while to get through this. But there is some intense loving going on right now, though. Myrtle is really digging the Harry right now. And whoop. All right. And we're going to build the world's largest toilet plunger. And also for this run, we're going to finally see the very first occurrence of a snake. And the reason that's relevant is because we need Harry. He's the only one that can talk to snakes because he knows Potterthon. So we're going to need to do him. More often than not, I'm going to forget about Potterthon. It happens a lot. But this is the first time we're really using it. I believe there's maybe two previous occurrences if you play the normal story mode where you have to use it before this area. I think there's one down in the Southern Common Room at least, but we'll see more of those later. I didn't get the skip. You can actually skip him originally coming up, so you can be right next to here. So you can originally be right next to here to put the plunger into the squid. Many a snake here in this woods. It's really hard to run across this. It looks easy, but it's really not because it's so hard to judge where you are most of the time. A really slippery surface as well. There's not really anything preventing you from falling off. I'd really like a skip for this area, but unfortunately I haven't found a jump to skip the fisherman. But I believe there should be a skip there. I just need to look much harder for it. The reason there is no skip right there where the serpentine block is going to is because certain areas like that, certain supports, especially for walkways, are insanely slippery. Otherwise, we could skip probably a whole heck of a lot more. Reptar. No, Reptar. Reptar? Okay, there we go. The plants really make riding Reptar difficult. Please find me. Find me, find me, find me, find me. It took him a long time for the second hit for some reason. It's kind of odd. And that is our second appearance of the snake. Or second possible tongue, rather. Give me. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Don't attack, don't attack. Thank you. Made a minor mistake there, though, if anyone notices what I did. I didn't start the skeleton early enough, which is fine. It's not a huge time loss, but it's still a really tedious error. Tom has some really interesting issues, though, because he'll appear in certain areas where he really shouldn't, and that kind of stalls the game out sometimes. And to the average player, it'd be a soft lock, which is one of the complaints registered with this game. Because after we do this, Tom is actually going to appear up here, even though he's not supposed to. Like right there. And the only way to get rid of him is to, hang on a second. I want to get a better angle for this because I missed it in my PV because I was on the left. And you can hit him when you're on the left side like that, but it tends to miss and it tends to target all the stuff in the background. I'm going to pretend to build this and he's going to go away. There he goes. Seems silly, but it's actually necessary because of the weird AI in this game. Harry. Okay. Anyway, now we can finally move on. This part tends to be a little bit annoying because of the snake breath. Please? Fine. There we go. The hat is very picky. We lost a sword. Oh man, this is amazing. It's not a good thing to fall there, but year 2, like I said, is the most harsh. There we go. Finally done with year 2. Rest of the game is smooth sailing. We'll end up only ended up losing 15 seconds there, surprisingly. Anyway, we're on to year 3, finally, but first we're going to make a stop at the train station. It's kind of disappointing they skipped the train station, and I mean, they skipped the home part in year 3, because that was one of the coolest parts, IMO.
I think I tried this earlier and I wasn't successful in it, but thank you to Gaming Matthias for $2, who simply says, "Dat Sheffy." Thank you for that. I did try this a few minutes ago, but apparently I was all muted and stuff. But yeah, thanks, Dat Sheffy, and good luck with year 3.
Thank you. Arthur, please. Anyway, we're probably just gonna have to end up waiting on the monster book here, like always. Year 3 is kind of weird. They kind of really had a weird pace to the game they added, and they really slowed it down for some reason. Year 3 and Year 4 are very slow, for the most part. Much to contrary belief, you don't actually have to be standing on the bed to get that picture frame. It's just safer. Despite all the happenings right now, we are only 6 minutes behind somehow, which I'm astonished by. Because this should be much, much worse. Okay, good, I got it. You don't actually see what happens here until right there. But anyway, let's see. I'm really hoping one day to be able to skip this little cutscene, but I still haven't figured out how to do it just yet. Release the owl. Please? Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna wait till those people are out of the way, because sometimes I tend to hit them. Anyway, this is the instance of what I call the two hands, because I can carry something and build something at the same time. And I can also carry this because it's a levitation instead of a grab, so I can actually kill two birds with one stone. Which is really awesome. Not to mention, I can carry this and save a trip back. In the restricted section, it was mostly optional, but in this section, you just have to do it that way. Because it's kind of a long walk from this side of the station to the other side of the station. Right. As for drinking potions and certain strength potions, as long as we're not a Weasley, we can drink it. But if we are a Weasley and drink the potion, they have a much longer animation, which includes the muscle flexing, and they do push-ups, and it's really annoying. It just takes up a lot of unneeded animation time. It's kind of weird, didn't have the Jinx at first. The train is really different in free play versus story mode. Most notably when we get closer to the end, when we meet Professor R.J. Lupin. Because in story you have to do a lot of babysitting in this area, and in free play you just kind of go ham. Sugar cured ham, to be exact. Alright. Okay, where is he? There he is. For Patronus, you have a choice of either selecting the spell, like right here, selecting that, or just using your standard directional buttons when you're targeting. There's a reason to use both. It's not like the levitation where you can just, simply press a button and select the nearest thing. If you use both, we can actually use that to our advantage in this year. Because when you have it selected, you can actually manually cast without targeting and potentially snipe an enemy. So, oh, never mind. Don't have to kill him, but I decided to anyway. I'll get to that in a second. Please do not kill me. We're actually not going to kill him because he's not doing anything. Sometimes you have a chaser or a seek, other times you don't. And in this case, he's not going to seek anybody. It's kind of picky sometimes. The southern chests tend to bite, but they're not a big issue. Need to be hairy right now. Anyway, this next part, you're usually trying to keep Lupin out of the moonlight, so you have to create blinds and some sort of thing like that, or try to keep the light out of the carriage car, to be exact. But in free play, you just say, ha, 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 ha. And then you just go to the end. And there's Harry's body. The reason I did this is because Harry's body is right there, but I'm Harry right now. Oh, wow, you didn't die. Anyway, there's Harry's corpse. For some reason, they decided to put that in there. Maybe we used the time turner a little bit too early. The world may never know. Anyway, it's time for Hogsmeade, so if there are any donations at all, now would be the amazing time to read those, because Hogsmeade is literally watching grass grow. I am dead serious. If you want to go read a book, go read a book. I will give you like 3 whole free minutes, because this is terrible. This isn't the terrible part yet, but you'll see what happens. I don't know why they felt the need to put this in the game, but they decided to. You can kind of do these out of order, but it's really risky. Not to mention the game can potentially soft lock if you lose one of the tiles. So right now that's out of order, because this one is supposed to go on the first one, but you can do either one. The game just tends to be picky sometimes. Come on. Almost do it. There we go. Okay. This is the first instance of a Boggart, and we want to take Boggart as Hermione, because if you take a Boggart as Harry, he will cower in fear. And if you take them as Hermione, she can simply just cast them away. So if we take one as Harry, we'll have really big issues. Let's give the cake to the big guy first. And we'll give it to the flowers to Squidward. If done optimally, jumping up a ladder is faster than just simply climbing it, but you have to do it specifically. Anyway, the most important lesson we're going to learn in Year 3 is... Could anyone take a guess? The Patronus, or maybe Divination, something like that, maybe? Any of those? Not quite. The most important lesson we're going to learn in Year 3 is none other than... our good friend Arson. Burn, baby, burn. Wasn't that educational? And here comes the amazing auto-scroller that is Malfoy. There's absolutely nothing we can do to speed this up, sadly. Unfortunately, this is a two-phase fight also. Any skips for this would be amazingly appreciated, but there's nothing I can really do. The only real issue with this fight is what Hermione is going to do, because if she's too close, she's actually going to take the hits for me, which normally would be fine, but unfortunately I don't want anything to take the hit, so I can, what in the world? He didn't even throw it, he just laughed. And he gave me another cycle. I've never seen that before. I have no idea what even happened. It just disappeared from his wand, he didn't even throw it. Anyway, now we're gonna build a big old snow flurry, McFlurry blizzard machine. Unfortunately, it doesn't make any varieties of ice cream. Alright, Hermione's in a good spot. She just waved at me for some reason. We're at 2. My personal count is 2 so far, in case you're wondering. Please get on the sled. First we had it in the Jinx broomstick, and now we've had it in Hogsmeade. There we go. Oh, I was not looking at the screen. Nice exercise. Alright, we are officially done with Hogsmeade, thankfully. So, feel free to wake up. Yay! Done with the worst level. It's time for Mischief Managed. And this, once again, the cast is going to be wrong for this chapter, because it's going to be Harry and Hermione instead of just Harry. No. Wrong one. I almost went to the wrong level. Okay. Mischief Managed. It's usually supposed to be Ron and Harry here. In the movies and books, it was just Harry, of course. Hermione's here with us. Okay. Sure. He had it coming, we'll just say that. Knock up the chest, give us the other key. Gonna put them both in the same time, we're gonna have a little bit of tag team action going on right here. And boom. One thing I do like about this area is there's no loading zones. It's all loaded at the same time, which is kind of cool. Not many areas in this game are like that. I'm gonna switch to Hermione for the Boggart. We're gonna build our cauldron real fast. And come down here, talk to Spooky Scary Skeleton. He's not really feeling himself today, so he didn't do a little dance. Hopefully he gets better soon. That banner placement was probably the best hiding place I've ever seen in 1 through 4 for a potion ingredient, honestly. Because you never ever check those areas, ever. Boggart. It's kind of funny because you switch to Hermione for the Boggart, and then you gotta switch back to Harry for Fossil Tongue. I'm gonna manually auto-target here because of the lamp above me. Because by default it's gonna target the layer above me, which is the lamp, but we need to build this first. I tried to get all these statues at once. Oh, we only got 3. Hey, we actually ended up only getting 2. That's amazing. Gonna build the wheel real fast, then we're gonna activate the plant and get the cherries going. Alright, we're gonna come up here where Filch is, and we're gonna grab the piece of chicken. This is a real first area where I'm probably gonna get caught at if I don't do the jump right. Okay, I got it right. When you get... Oh, okay. That was really lucky. When you get caught by Filch, the only way to get out of it, to get your partner out of it, that is to find Mrs. Norris and jinx Mrs. Norris, and it'll startle Filch. Which is a shame, because you can potentially drop the object you were holding, which is going to waste a whole lot of time. Okay, good. He followed me up here pretty fast. Almost done. Alright, we're out of mischief managed, and we saved 4 seconds somehow. Alright, time next is the Shrieking Shack, which is quite an interesting level. There is a trick in this level, or chapter, I should say, that saves between 2 and 3 seconds that I sometimes go for. But unfortunately, I'm not going to go for it, but I am going to explain what it is and why I'm not going to go for it. But first we have to fight the Whomping Willow. The only critical part of this fight is, of course, not dying, missing cycles, like normal expectation. But the other critical part is going to be placement. So when I fall down, I want to be right on top of those roots. So as soon as the fight actually ends, I'm actually going to fall into the hole automatically. And it's automatically going to load the next area. So hopefully we'll get pretty good placement. It's not too hard to pull off. If you're really good, what you can get is what I like to call the no-look, where you actually jump into the cusp of the Whomping Willow, and Harry will actually be looking back at you, and he does kind of a blind, no-scope kind of hit, which is always really fun. I haven't gotten it in a long time, though. I got it like 3 times in a row in my PB. It was great. Alright, so let's see what my placement's going to be exactly. Is that going to work? Oh, I was just barely off. Hey, Lupin isn't in the way for once. He's usually in my way in this area. Those jumps, those jumps. Just going to be a system of entangling these vines so we can get up to the actual Shrieking Shack. That's a bad cycle, unfortunately. I didn't get around the flower in time. I'm not quite clean yet. Cycles are all over the place right now. Hopefully get good water, though. No, not good water. Hermione, you were amazing. Lost a little bit of time because he put his wand away. That's one of the challenges with keeping the wand active, is having the animation on putting the wand away, because it stops your movement temporarily. Not to mention it delays certain spellcasting, especially if it's manual aiming. That's when it becomes a real problem. Somewhere like this is kind of the same, because we use a mix of manual and quick aim, or quick casting. Because the piano is really sensitive to where you hit it at. The vase, or the vase, however you want to phrase it, is the only thing in this room that can't be quick casted. You can quick cast the piano if you're really dead on accurate. Okay, I couldn't raise it for a second there. I'm going to blow this up, it's going to drop some pieces. I'm going to try to get a good spot. Do not respawn, please. Okay, good. Watch out for the mandrake. Okay, it was nowhere near around. Say hi to Spooky Scary Skeleton. He's actually going to do a dance for us this time. He's feeling a whole lot better since we last saw him. Third plant's always going to be the charm. Done. Just for giggles, I'm going to go for it. I changed my mind. I'm going to go for it just for giggles. It's probably going to fail though, but I want to go for it just for fun. Anyway, when you're a pet or an animal, you don't actually get hit. You get hit a different way than other animals. Please get it. Please. Yeah, too late now. Anyway, when you're an animal, you can actually get hit and knocked up into the air, and certain enemies actually have a hitbox inherited. So you can actually get what's known as a damage boost, which I can actually skip building this mushroom and bringing up a wizard or muggle, whatever you want. So it can actually save a little bit of time if you can get a quick jump with Crookshanks, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get it. And it wastes a lot of time because usually the AI doesn't come up the ladder. That's the only downside to it. But we actually didn't lose any time there because of my PB. I went for Crookshanks, and I didn't get it. I keep thinking this is year 2. Anyway, it's time for the Dementor's Kiss, which is interesting to say the least. Certainly one of the weirdest puzzles. It took me a long time to figure out. Please, get out of my way. Alright, now he's down. It's a very weird puzzle when I try to figure it out casually. And of course from here it's just smooth sailing. We don't have ourselves a barbecue. Looks good, don't it? Hey, John Cena. Nope. No, come on. Nothing. Tried really mercifully to find a skip for this, and instead of having to wait on this and watch the cutscene of the frogs entering the water. It's kind of weird how they set it up. This part really leans on whether Hermione's in the water or not when I come up here. Because if she's not in the water, she usually causes problems. Didn't get it in time. You can actually take the album and actually take it down the hill without dropping it and it respawning. It's a little bit specific though, but it's not too bad honestly. But we're gonna do it the intended way just to save time. She's not in the water yet. That could be an issue. Please don't hit me. Okay, good. She didn't hit me. Certain place you need to fall off about right here and not lose the album. You can still lose the album and pick it up, but it's risky to say the least because you need to pick it up before it respawns. All right. Anyway, this is one of the sniping areas. Did not actually get the snipe on my PB, so we're gonna see if I can get it. And you can actually just do this instead of going around the long way. Alright. Dementors have a certain time frame before they appear out of the boundary to come inside, before you can hit them with a go ahead. They appear right about here. Oh, that was way too early. Anyway, a B button like that usually can snipe them if I'm really good, but that was not a good effort at all. Anyway, but you can actually, if you can predetermine an enemy location, you can actually send a Jinx ahead of time that can actually potentially just get rid of them beforehand. It could save at least 6 or 7 seconds, depending on the path of the enemy. No, your voice did not go through. Anyway, time for the Dark Tower. And we'll finally be done with year 3. And thank you, Verdirect, for the $2.26. It's one of the areas where blind attacks are really useful if you know where they're coming from. Thinking about the Dementor on the other side for a second. Come on, Hammer, work with me. There we go. A lot of people always kind of cringe when they hear this because this area crashes so much if you're on the default vanilla version without the tweaks in the INI. This is the place where you first experience a crash. Even though we've seen this type of enemy already. Hermione didn't get up here in time. Anyway, due to weird lighting effects or sound effects, something like that, it usually crashes the game. So that's usually where the problems arise from. What in the world? That was odd. It's still... whatever. Pixie is weird. Nice jump. Hit the lamp. Co-op for this area would be really interesting to see, at the very least. This area has really weird stuff happening in it. At certain times, for some unknown reason, the second wave of Dementors sometimes doesn't spawn for me. Which is good, but it's also bad because it's inconsistent. Thought I can get it from the other angle, but apparently not. Anyway, I will actually know any kind of delay offset for the next run. I'll know that by the next chapter, the first part of the next chapter. So that way we can just schedule if need be. And they spawn this time. That is really odd. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Did I get him? Yes, this is year 3. Year 3 out of 4. After this one, we'll be starting year 4. Did I get him? Yeah, I got him. That one usually comes pretty easy to blind hit on him. There's a certain strat I have for this, which is really easy. It's really nice just standing on this. They can still get me from up here, though, but it's far less likely. They can still get you from up here, but it's way easier just trying to collect all of them in one circular area. The only problem with doing it on this side is that I'm going to be targeting that padlock a lot. So there's going to be a slight delay in casting. That was very good. And now because of the freeze, that was interesting. My Virulus just completely crapped out. TMI must be having issues. Anyway, they could still get me from up there, but it seems much better than kind of skating around on the surface. Anyway, it's time for year 4. It's time to go to the Quidditch World Cup, which is going to be fun, right? Anyway, I have a massive amount of time to save in this area, so hopefully it goes well. Okay, my chat is back finally. Sorry if I missed anything. Yeah, now it's all back. You jerk. Jerk. This one tends to be a little bit picky. Alright, good, we got it pretty quick. And Bob. Okay, anyway, the really huge difference here is that you do not have to make the potion because we have Harry. And so all you have to do is just put on the cloak and get rid of the book. What did he... Okay, good, he got rid of it. I switched too fast. Anyway, you can just do this, skip the potion completely. It's really nice. They did an amazing job with the art here, by the way. I am seriously impressed. This whole area is really nicely done, especially the background. And this isn't even the greatest possible graphic settings. I need somebody over here anyway, so I gotta wait. There we go. Need to put out this fire over here. For some reason someone made the design decision to put the entire group in this area, so it really sucks for tagging. Not to mention cycling through all the characters as well. Gonna wait on this guy. No song that time, but he felt like doing a little jig anyway. Nope. It's worth a shot though, right? The estimate was really weird because of the crashes is what I was trying to prevent. Because there's not a lot that can go wrong that would waste enough amount of time. I was already pushing it the way it was. It was much, much lower, believe it or not. It used to be 3 minutes, actually. But we'll see after this just how far behind I am. If intended correct... Oh, wait a minute. I dropped the bone? Oh, that's interesting. If intended correctly, it should be ending right exactly on time. Like, to the very second, maybe. Depending on how the rest of year 4 goes. I need a non-Weasley. There we go. Have to sift through all these Weasleys. Alright, time for the fight. This fight is insanely critical. The worst possible thing to happen in this fight is getting grabbed by a snake. If you get grabbed by a snake, it's pretty much over. Not to mention the other party members getting in the way. I have no idea what's going on with those guys over there, but they keep trying to kill themselves. I have no idea why. Come on, Harry. You're killing me. Please. Thank you. It's not a good thing. Not going to save near as much time as intended. It's too early in the cast. Okay. Okay. We're gonna be at least 1 minute over estimate. Okay. That's not too bad. Right now it's looking to end at about a high 206. So that's not completely terrible considering we had one crash. Stupid lock. Actually, I have another time save later in this year, but it's not significant. It's less than 30 seconds. Yeah, it's really close, that's for sure. Because a lot of things can go wrong in this game, and the PB I have is not perfect at all. We're gonna see if we can get some good jumps here. Okay. Buttons, buttons, buttons. There we go. Each crash is approximately 2 minutes and 18 seconds if it's in year 1. If it's not in year 1, That's a big problem, because the other chapters in various years are much longer. Anyway, this song we're about to play, it's the same pattern every single time. It's not random at all. So that's the good thing about it. Ah, too low. There we go. Oh well. It's not satisfying to say the least. This area has really stumped us for tricks because you can technically get to this side without getting to this side. It's really hard to explain, but you can actually get to this side from the other side. However, we haven't determined how to clip up the wall yet. So if that ever is a possibility, you could just turn this chapter on its head, pretty much. It'd be really nice if we can actually find a way to do it. Very conservative effort because it's really easy to start those fires again, which is really annoying when it happens. Speaking of really annoying, this guy is very annoying. That second one's always really tough to judge. I want either the blue or the green here. I'm going to take the blue since it's closer. Alright, that's fine. And then my other allies are just going to do this amazing super jump to get to the other side. It's not fair at all. Not fair. So unfortunately you can't skip that tutorial. I'd really like a way to skip that. That'd be very satisfying. I'm gonna try something here. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Please, Hagrid, don't die. He always dies there. Idiot. I don't understand how he always manages to find a way to die there. Spoken too soon. Almost. Yay. Hey, we saved some time and a best segment. Alright, time for the first task. I have a little bit more time to save here. If I do everything correctly, that is, and I don't get kind of messed up by the collisions. Collisions tend to give me a lot of issues. I'm going to play this really safe so I don't lose anything. Anyway, here's the two-hand again. Like I mentioned several times before, we're going to use it again right here. Yes, that dragon split was the best segment. I don't know how, but it was. By about 5 seconds. Okay, please be nice to me. You've had your fun. You have had your fun. Now be nice. Yes, yes, yes. It did not mess with me. And we're ahead of the cycles, too. Normally, if you take your time there, he'll actually lay down fire. You have to wait on it, but if you're fast enough, you can actually beat the cycles. And like the main duty is, he actually targets your cat. Who does that, honestly? Who targets your cat? Come on. No. There we go. Okay, that's weird. Alright. I actually know a lot of Harry Potter games, but unfortunately I'm not the greatest at those. However, I did want to give this a run, though. It made it in Potterthon last year. Actually, it was ran by Los Viken. He actually did story mode, and this year we're going to do some free play, which you'll also see more free play later from Elmo, because Elmo is going to be doing years 5 through 7 on free play as well. So we got double the Harry Potter action this year. I've actually never seen a 5 through 7 free play of Harry Potter, the actual speed run, so it should be interesting to watch later. Same with the Game Boy Color games. I never really bothered to actually watch them because I kind of wanted the marathon setting to kind of learn what was going on. Unfortunately, didn't save time there. I was hoping to get that time saved, but I missed it just by a hair a little bit because I played a little safe. Alright, time for the Secret of the Egg. kind of funny where all my time saves are. They're in the weird little quirky areas that I always forget about, usually towards the end game. We're almost done though. We're in the final 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, Harry. You're done. You are done, Harry. I didn't get the third one. It's too far back. You can actually get all three of those and you don't have to watch the cutscenes separately. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. Right here would be a really nice indication of co-op. We can get 2 of those instead of having to go back for the other one. Since we only need 1 more anyway. And boom, done. Let's do it, let's do it. Alright. Wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm an idiot. That's not in this category. That was idiotic. You don't actually have to do that puzzle because it's only for currency. I almost fell for it though. Oh, thank you, Virus. Hopefully it finishes out pretty well. It started out alright, aside from the game crash though, so I can't complain about that. Silly crabs. I already see them pushing me also, so they're going to give me trouble as soon as the sequence ends. Yes. Those crabs are really aggressive little creatures, I'll tell you. Oh, the Black Lake. This has actually gone surprisingly well the past few runs. I'm really happy with how the consistency's been going. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it up right here. I'm going to be just slightly off the estimate, which isn't bad because I guessed that pretty good. I can't really do anything about the game crash, unfortunately, unless I switch platforms, which isn't viable, unfortunately. If I actually had the console version, oh, thank you, Squid. If I had the console version, I'd much rather prefer running on that. I'm doing 1 through 4, and our good friend Elmo will be doing 5 through 7 later on. No, 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 please. Thank you. His tail is always kind of finicky. It's stuck in something. Alright, it needs to respawn. Okay. Okay. Give me a boost, will you? Okay, no boost. That's fine. Sometimes you get a little bit of a boost from the actual collision of everything falling down and kind of jet you forward, which is really nice when it happens, because as soon as this initiates, you're pretty much in the trigger. Didn't get so lucky this time. Oh man, I was kind of hoping to get that. And down. Doesn't matter who I am for this little segment right here, stuff go to the same place. It's just easier to get around these rocks than the ones up top. Ugh, I got hit. I like to go up top though, just as a out of personal habit, that is. Unfortunately, getting both of these at the same time saves nothing. If you put the pearl back with the oyster, even though you see the sequence first, you still have to watch the squid, which is unfortunate. Otherwise, that would be a really cool time save. Okay, now we're actually to the fighting part. And actually, you can actually get these, you can actually get the joints from all the way back here. You don't have to be up close to cast at them. So I can actually get this one right now. Wait a minute. I want to do something else. Ah, you would, wouldn't you? Change my mind on something. Just gonna go one way, decide to go the other. This might be a delay. It's gonna be a delay. Okay, it was a delay. It's hard to judge that one. Get in there, please. Unfortunately, lost a few seconds there. That sucks. What really sucks is the maze. I can't account for the maze because regardless, even if you know the path of the maze and the patterns of the maze, you cannot go ahead of it. Even though it's the exact same every time, you actually have to witness watching it. Otherwise, that'd be a nice free time save over story mode. Anyway, this is the very last section, the very last, so we're coming up on the finale right now. Anyway, like I said, even though I know what the pattern's going to be, I still have to build it and watch it. But as soon as he starts the little formation, I can actually go and do the pattern. So you save a teensy little tiny bit of time. Just like that. I will tell you in a few seconds when it's going to be end run. We're not quite up on it yet, but we're getting really close. Yes, it's the final hit on Voldemort on his third heart. Ooh, I almost completely lost that. That was a really late jump on my part. This is the reasoning behind why I jump and why I don't jump when I'm moving. Because it gives you a slight speed boost at first, but it falls off dramatically after that. Nice jump. There we go. Alright, the spider's going to eat him, then the fly's going to come over here, and we're hopefully going to get a big old boost from the spider charging. The angle is slightly off, though. No boost. No boost. Come on. Oh, that was really delayed. Holy cow. Okay, now we're finally done with the maze. And we're gonna meet the big man himself in just a few seconds. Alright, here he is. It is very critical that I take out all the Death Eaters as fast as possible, because Death Eaters can spawn during our duel. And if I get hit by a Death Eater during the duel, I'll automatically lose. Anyway, on his third and final heart, as soon as I'm done with the duel, that will be end time. My technical end time is actually on the end of the level, on the confirm. Alright, there's hit number 2. It's going good so far, didn't lose a cycle. Hermione is actually doing pretty good right now. Ooh, the double team. Ugh, the double team. And... time. I have 207:59.82. That is not bad. Wow. I like how the game always doesn't respond at the end of the run. That is nice. That'd be the perfect icing on the cake. Whew. Well, that was certainly a roller coaster of fun, wasn't it? Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's take a look at this. Okay. I have to stop my recording real fast. Alright, thank you. I believe Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is next, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is the next thing on this schedule. That is, it's about, to my splits exactly, it's 8 minutes and 14 seconds off, which for the most part that was due to the crash. That kind of made everything's a little bit hairy, and not to mention missing Broomstick. Oh. Is he next